Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me. Isn't often the way. As soon as I actually start recording, I realize it's not quite in the right position. Yes, so let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, pull back the thumb with feet together, hands together, and we press forwards. And I'm going to turn off this light. It will be a little dark, but I think it'll be, an more even glow. So we're going to do some master lock work today. Let's see how much we can get through. But first we're going to begin with Wu Ji. So we're going to use the syllabus to warm up as well as to practice. So we take our feet shoulder width and level, and let's float the top of the head up, the chin slightly down and back, and allow yourself time to calm, to breathe, to arrive. Listening to your body. Listening to the breath. Listening for your heart rate. Listen to the environment around you. Finding all 10 fingers, gently lengthen them down. Feel for an even connection across all 10 fingers. Feel the dynamic of the top of the head lengthening up and the fingers lengthening down. Notice the sensations. We go from maybe a little tingling in the fingertips. Now we start to get a filling in the fingers, a warmth maybe, or just a feeling of fullness, like sausages. Now we want to breathe and release into this practice, as this is what sets up the whole thing. We want to make something out of nothing, basically. We're waking up our energy, we're feeling it build within our structure. Even just feeling those fingers becoming more and more full. Very good. Now you could stand for up to half an hour, just breathing, letting go, gently lengthening the fingers, listening, noticing how the system responds. But for now, I think we're getting to the point that we're nice and full, so let's begin with our open door 5. We scoop. Feel for the tailbone, guiding the energy up the tailbone, and feel in through to the center. Feel through to the small of the back and lift. relax. And again, feel for the point between the two legs, zipping open the back, over the shoulders, feel all the way to the fingertips and relax to waist height, to kidneys. Scoop the hand round the kidneys. Deep breath, gather as much energy as you can and relax down through the center line. At waist height, we scoop. Keep breathing, keep feeling your way. Good. We never want to have a full extension. We're talking 70%. Press down and away. Relax to waist height and breathe. Good. Give your back a wee rub, please. Good stuff. So we are looking at a Taoist style of Qi Gong here, Tai Chi. So we are extending fully, but we're extending fully through a curve. A lot of people get very confused about that because they think of an extension, a full extension, as straight. But actually, anytime we're extending, we're still in a curve. But can you imagine, can you take your arms out for me, all the way out to the sides and stretch? So we're in a straight line. So this is not Taoist style now. This is more like Shaolin style, external Qigong. But now if we wrap around, think of grabbing a tree. So it's curved and it's in front of you. So the arms are curved, the elbows are slightly curved, all of the joints are slightly curved, not bent at an angle, but curved. Good. So now can you imagine that you're trying to stretch around the tree? So you're in a curve, but you're trying to reach around it. Can you feel it? You're really stretching. You are fully extending, but you're fully extending through a curve. You're at 70% from the point of view of opening out the joint, but through the curve, you can reach, you can extend. So let's bring the ball round in front. And same again, imagine that you're hugging a ball this time and you can't quite reach around the ball, but you're trying. So try to reach, try to get the fingers to touch, knowing that the ball won't let you. Stretch around the ball as much as you can. Can you feel it's not just the arms, but the back is being filled back. The chest is being emptied a little bit. It's being hollowed a little bit. Good. And relax down. So do you see what I mean by extension? It is a full extension, but you're fully extending through a curve. So, you know, sometimes when I'm working with people in class, and I'll say to them, you know, if your stance isn't big, then your arms should not be big. They should be, you know, equal to the feet. And I have seen students doing this kind of weird sort of limp upper body that everything's kind of collapsed. And I'm going, well, what are you doing with your arms? What's going on here? And they said, well, my stance isn't big, so I'm not doing a big upper body position either. I'm going, right, good, I'm glad you've picked that up, but it's not to be limp. Whatever size the stance is, we still need to extend, we need to stretch through that position. So if it's a big position, you're stretching through the big position. If it's a narrower or smaller position, we are still extending through that narrow position. So we want to make a difference between effort and extension and size. So if it's small, it doesn't mean limp or without extension. You're still extending through it. Think of a beautiful plant. You can have a plant that's like this, or you can have a plant that's like this, but just because it's like this doesn't mean that it should be like this. Do you see what I mean? It still wants to have energy. It still wants to have pung, which is expansion within it. So we want to be very careful of that. We want to expand through our structures, even when we have a contained or smaller position. Let's do open door 5 one more time and see if we can apply that concept of extending through whatever size or shape of the position we are doing. Now, even then, it's 70% of your full effort. It's not, I'm really extending. No, we still want to have a little bit of release as well as effort. So, but please don't be limp. Limp is not part of the practice, because if you are limp, just think of your house plant again. If it's like this, it's not a happy plant. It needs to have energy, vitality, and that means that it will naturally be buoyant. It'll be open. All right, are we ready? We lengthen up and we relax down. Find your 10 fingers, lengthen them down. Ready, start. Good. Movement 2, please, of the 7 stars Rotations Qi Gong. S shape, change direction. Turn the palms in, draw in, shoulders remain relaxed down, float the arms up and expand. Continue. S shape, change direction. Good. Movement 3, we open, gather, forwards and up. There's your bowl, draw it in, squash it in, point to the eyebrows, the neck, pointing to chest, open, direct the energy down through the body. Be careful not to sway the knees in any direction. We feel up the back and put the belt on, checking posture. Relax down into your center. Now we have this moment of recalibration. We're listening and feeling into the body. Notice how it feels. Let go through it. And round 2, take a breath. Checking posture, relaxing to center. Notice how your body feels, where you feel, what you feel. Breathe into it and let go. One more time. Ready? Up the back. Putting on your belt and relax to center. Well done. Breathe and relax for a moment. Check posture. Good, and release your palms. We're going to do a little turning of the bowl. Turning towards the upper hand, relax. Remember, in Master Lock's work, there is that little bit of rise and fall. As the hand scoops under, we release in the hip. And we can expand it forwards, filling the back. Good. Now, we're going to turn to your southeast, this way. I recently got feedback saying, you know, when you say left, I think right. Yeah, it's very difficult. What do? Do I mirror and say what you're doing? People are too intelligent. Realize, that's not right. So anyway, we're going to do our little cycling action up the back. We're feeling each vertebrae in turn. Take your time. If you were counting and if you were being very thorough, you would do 33 little rotations, one set for each vertebrae. But as long as you're feeling up your back, personally, I think you can freestyle it a wee bit. You don't have to be so very accurate every time, at least. We go all the way up the neck, check your posture, top of the head floating up, chin down and back. When we get to the base of the skull, we turn the palms, turn the feet, skim across the waist, keep turning, come under the arm, along the arm, and a little half step for our tiger. So that was dragon and then tiger. Come underneath, expand, rotate. This is the beginning of the phoenix form. And turn over your front leg. Good, release the back foot, come in and step. So it's, yeah, it is just the phoenix, the beginning of the phoenix. We float up and we come over and in, and we step back, float up, over and in. Let's do that section again. I'm going to do the back view. You know what you're doing. So we've just done the tiger. to the southwest. We bring the right hand under and step. So in this form, we just call this section the phoenix. Good. And then we're going to flip the toes to the southeast. Turn the waist, bring your right hand forwards and up, left hand down and back. Push your hands away from your body as you look over your shoulder. Release, lasso, flip the toes, and the same to the other side. We look over the shoulder and push the hands away. Let's do it again. Lasso and flip the toes, push out, lasso, flip the toes, and push out. Good. Return to center. That was your snake. Now we have the turtle. So we cross the hands and sit back, stretching the hands forwards. So we want the hands in line with the feet. They might be slightly more forwards, and we're filling the back. Do you see the back becomes like the turtle's shell? It's curved. We lengthen up through the top of the head and the chin slightly down and back. So you'll see that the hands are the same width as the feet. Really stretch in all directions and release. Relax down. Very good. Turning to your southeast. So this is my right, it's your left. Okay, we're going to do our 5 elements practice. So this is your Tai Chi, this is your martial practice. We step, we turn out, we step through. We roll back towards the back foot, float up, release, square up, step the front foot, step the back foot through. Block, step back, and pierce. So same side, hand and foot forwards. Block, step back, and pierce. Now, your left arm and leg should be forwards. We're going to take a little half step and reach your right side forwards, pull your left hand back and cycle. Step and step. So this must be done leading with your left foot. Yeah, half step. One more time. Step, half step. Good. Turn to your southwest and we block, hand in front of heart, press forwards. Slide down, step the back foot, block, and a half step. Now, close to you. Again, slide down, step, block, half step. Good. That was your fire. Now we have earth. Big, loud hands. Just heard a thump. I think my stepson upstairs is lifting weights. He sometimes drops his weights. Good. Big circle and turn. Big circle and turn. Good. And bring the left side in. All right, so now we have our 6 movement, 6 harmonies. We're going to step out to the left again and go back to what we just were doing. So this is your rotation and step. Ready? We're going to swing the arms under, turn on the heel, step the back foot through, turn to face the back and open your left. Come back the way you came, left toes in, left arm up, feed the weight back, swing under, keep turning, step the back foot through and open right. Keep turning in the same direction, step left and cross the arms. Good. Now, if you have room, you can start to step. We'll step left and right and step back, left and right, change, step right and left, just keep circling, step back, left and right. Don't worry if that was confusing, you just do what you can. You can leave out the steps. We take a breath and relax down. I'm going to do the movement 7 with you, back view. Okay, so we'll all do the same thing together. So we bring our hands down by the sides, we float up. Chin slightly down and back. Take your time and calm. Find, excuse me, find all 10 fingers, gently lengthen them down. And we're going to scoop. Right hand comes under. There's your ball. Turn the ball. Push your left heel out. Left hand swings to point to the center of the circle. Release your right foot. Now we take 8 steps around. 2 steps to the side, 2 steps to the far end, 2 steps to the side, 2 steps back to where you are. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, halfway, 4, 5, quarter, 3 quarters, and you're there. Change. Same on the other direction. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and rest. Take a breath. Very good. And rest. Okay, so we're not going to hammer this form home today, but just to have gone through it, I think is very useful. That is the whole of the 7 stars in Rotations Qi Gong. Now, what is very useful is if you have a ceiling rose or a lamp, something hanging down, that you can walk around. And Dylan mentioned this. I didn't pick up on it, which is great. It's always the way when 2 people are studying the same material, both take away different things. But he mentioned that Master Locke talked about the 7 stars, the plough, the constellation, points to the North Star, and the North Star never appears to move in the sky. It's always in the same place. So when you are doing your 7 stars rotations, your fingers of the leading hand are pointing up to the North Star. So if you pick a ceiling rose or a lamp, something that's hanging down, then you can be, I actually have one here, you might not see it, but I'm pointing to the center of the ceiling rose. And so that gives me an anchor, so to speak. It gives me the fulcrum, a visual fulcrum that I can look to, and that helps me stay in as perfect a circle as I can manage. So that's something to play with. So, you know, if you're in a space, see if you can orientate yourself underneath a lamp or something hanging. Originally, we would put something on the floor, but actually it is easier because your fingers are pointing up. It's easier to look up. And it's never a good idea to look down because that draws your energy down. So if you had a pole to walk around, that would be perfect. Anyway, we're going to leave the 7 stars for now. We gave it a good go. And you can use the video to revise. But let's now have a wee look at our, should we do the Immortals now? And then finish with the Phoenix? Will that be an idea? So we'll do the difficult stuff and get it out of the way, and then we can calm down with something a bit softer. But you may notice as you do this work, having done the 7 stars, it will start to shine a new light on the material that you already know. You'll go, oh, this is that bit. And likewise, hopefully, as we were doing our 7 stars, your Phoenix and Immortals helped with that as well. Okay, so let's have a go at our Immortals, please. Wu Ji to begin, this time with the heels together, the toes a little bit apart. We lengthen up and the chin slightly down and back. Just take a few moments to breathe. Find all 10 fingers. Immortals, please. Ready, start. Good, well done. Now I'm realizing that it's quite difficult to see my arms, isn't it? So let me just put my top on again and hopefully that will be more clear. You did very well. Are there any questions or comments about the Immortals before we move on? No? Happy enough? Do you want to do it again? Yeah, I see one thumbs up. Okay. Well, I'd say to you, if you're working with injury, any form that has a lot of turn, I'm just going to turn off our heating for a second, folks. You'll see me off screen. Yeah, sorry. Any work that has a lot of turns in it, if you are working with an injury, maybe ankle, knee, hip, it's absolutely possible to do it well without pain. But I find that if you are injured, we tend to try and protect ourselves. And actually, often that trying to protect ourselves is the very thing that can put us at risk of further injury, because we are tightening muscles and structures that should not be tight. Basically, if we are, while we are doing our Tai Chi, we want to have a buoyant structure and a relaxed structure. So if you're going, oh, well, but my knee hurts, so I'm going to, protect it. Actually, then as you do the movements, that's the very thing that can cause or exacerbate injury. So if in doubt, leave it out. I would rather you didn't do a turn and kept your structure and kept yourself nice and relaxed in your buoyant position than thought, oh, here, flip, here's a turn and tightened. Because as I say, that's the very thing that can actually cause further injury. It's a bit like they say, if you're injured, try not to limp, because by limping, you are using your body in a different way, and all of these other parts of the body that are trying to protect the sore place, they actually then become sore as well, because that's not the way they're made to work. So do what you can, relaxed and comfortably, and anything that causes you pause for concern, just leave it out, just don't do it. Back at ballet school, there was a movement that we were doing, and it was one of these movements, but it was jumping from one corner to the other corner by turning and jumping. And every time I did it, I injured myself. And the teacher said, okay, do it. And I don't want to, it hurts. And I was being given the information on how not to hurt myself, but it was too late. I was already hurt. And so once you're hurt, it's very difficult not to protect yourself. So if it hurts and if it scares you, leave it. It can wait. Okay, so let's have one more go of the Immortals and then a quick go through the Phoenix. Okay, here we are. Let's lengthen up. Relax down, find the fingers, and scoop. Step to the side and turn, pluck left, pluck right. Very good. Well done. So we did it quite quick because we want time for the Phoenix as well. I'm roasted. I'm going to open the door here. Yeah, so there's a lot to Tai Chi and Qigong, isn't there? So there's learning choreography, that's important, and learning what we should be doing. But there's a whole branch of, or an aspect of Tai Chi, which is learning how to work with what you've got. So Tai Chi is designed to be perfect. That's actually what Tai Chi means. It means supreme ultimate. It is a pinnacle of practice that we're aiming towards. But human beings are not perfect. We're working with imperfections. So that means necessarily, regardless of who you are or how good you are, you have to adapt what you're doing to suit your nature. And that's the first law, if you like, of Tai Chi, that nature is the first principle. So if you find that you can't do a move for whatever reason, that's part of Tai Chi in that we have to then adapt what we've been given so that we can do it. So sometimes that might mean the difference between doing a wide, deep stance and doing a narrow, high stance. Or it could mean that we're leaving out a turn altogether. Or, you know, if we can't raise the arm all the way, maybe there's a frozen shoulder. So we raise the arm to where we can go and visualize the rest. So it is absolutely fine. In fact, it is part of the nature of practicing Tai Chi that we can't do everything that is asked of us. And we're not expected to do everything that is asked of us, but instead we do everything that we can do to the best of our ability, and that is working with our nature, and therefore we are doing Tai Chi. So it is perfection as a concept filtered through the imperfect body and human being, which creates something that is even more perfect through its imperfection. So Tai Chi is the goal, it's the pinnacle that we work towards, as opposed to expecting ourselves to be perfect every time we practice, because it's just not possible. Even the circle that we did earlier, we're aiming to depict the perfect circle, knowing that we never will, because it's perfect and we're not. But you aim for it and you can go a long way just by walking towards that carrot that's dangling in front of us. Okay, so let's do some Phoenix to warm down, and then you'll have done a full hour's Master Locks practice. So we come into our space, we lengthen up, and relax down. Lengthen your fingers gently down, feel for an even connection. And let's begin. Phoenix and graceful clouds of blessing. Very good. Now, I'll admit I zoned out there at one stage. I kind of fell asleep and woke up and went, did we do all the moves? I'm not sure if we did. That's terrible. And this is part of this imperfection, that the body is imperfect, but the mind is also imperfect. We want to do this practice in mindfulness. So we're present with each and every movement and each and every feeling, but we're human and sometimes the mind wanders. And sometimes we don't even realize it has wandered until we are deep in that sleep or somewhere else. And then we go, oh, hold on, I'm doing Tai Chi. And that happened to me. So apologies. Hopefully we managed to get through the whole form, but I couldn't tell you if we did. Maybe you could tell me. But anyway, let's finish with a wee warm down. So what I'm saying to you, the lesson today is we're not perfect. We're aiming for perfection. Don't worry if you fall off the wagon, so to speak. So if you can't perfectly do a movement, that's okay. Nobody can. Even the masters would always say, yeah, I think I could do better. You know, with a bit of work, I could improve upon this. And it's the same with the mental faculty. Sometimes we drop the ball. Let's go down to the legs. So standing practice will help. We don't do much of that in class because we just don't have time. But the more standing we do, listening, feeling, and letting go, the more practiced we are. It's like a muscle. The more practiced we are and the more able we are to remain focused. Sometimes life events throw a spanner in the works, and that is part of nature as well. So whatever is going on with you, if you are doing Tai Chi as best you can, you're making progress, and that's good. So don't worry if you're having a bit of a tough day, if your body isn't quite responding, if your mind isn't quite there all the time. As long as you're doing your best, that's all we can ask, and you will make some progress. If you do find your mind wandering, that's okay. Remember that thought, go, okay, I'll remember that. Put it away for later and come back to your practice. And if you do that, it's all good. Let's do a little heel tap, please. Let everything go nice and floppy and relaxed. And stand. Listen to the energy. Listen to your body. Lovely. Let's guide the energy to center, please. Hug your elbows in. Feeling into your belly, breathing into your belly. Feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful. Well done, folks. Let's salute. 学生好. Thank you very much. You can say 老师好. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And I'll try to be fully awake.